So hello everybody, my name's Brian Mort and we're at the Yellowpod Studios here in Dubai for a very special edition. I'm joined by two of the most high performing companies in the AI world today. Mr. Odey Mahmoud from the Cyborg Automation Hub here in Dubai and the Middle East, and the founders of RedSand, Nicole Anderson and Sandeep Dhamma. So we're going to talk today about AI and automation, the evolution, what's happening especially in this amazing territory. And maybe first of all, I could come to you then, Odey, and talk about your business and how it's evolved and what your vision is for the 2-3 years ahead, as it's this very fast-moving business we're in.
Yes, indeed. First of all, hi, Brian. How are you? And hi, Nicole. Hi, Sandeep. And it's a very nice day here in Dubai. It's hot, but it's good. It's nice. So it's good. So coming back to the vision, yes, our vision has been transforming every 6 months as fast as the AI is moving towards the future, and a lot of news and a lot of development in that space. So we hear and we see a lot of development around it. So our vision remains agile as possible, as much as possible. So currently we're focusing on AI powered automation. So we are using automation. That's our heritage and what we started doing. We use intelligent automation and standard headless bots to automate processes. Now we are AI. We enable these bots with AI that makes them more powerful and opened up an amazing space for automation and use cases with the customers. And it's looked like we're going in the right direction from the demand we see and the excitement we feel in the market.
Amazing. So one of the pioneers of automation and RPA, we'll call that generation one.
Yes.
You're seeing your customers now ask you for infrastructure and AI agents. How does that kind of play through in terms of use cases and compute power? We're going from the CP world to the GPU world now. How challenging is that for corporations?
Yes, exactly. So the corporations are very late in adopting such technologies because of the governance and compliance and the regulatory affairs and all stuff they're facing every day, starting from data residency and going to security and access on the data. Who has access? How can we give AI access to our data? And how can bots be powered by AI and do the work we should do? All these questions, they come to mind. That's where our specialization comes in, okay? Where we see these needs and demands, and they are valid demands. So they have to keep their data in country, sometimes on-premise, even on their premises. However, we're trying to adapt to having a huge LLM models and AIs into their premises, using state-of-the-art hardware, which we'll touch on later on maybe, and these let's say on-prem LLM models combined with automation, which already can be deployed at the local servers. So having GPUs now is doing wonders and increasing the performance of all the technologies we have, and giving a huge benefits to our clients, millions and millions of dollars of savings once we utilize these technologies.
We've followed you from KSA back to Dubai this week in record speed, here with RedSand as well, London founders of an infrastructure-based company, and you're announcing your amazing partnership here with Odey and his business. Tell us a little bit about your business for the listeners.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. So yes, wonderful to be in Dubai. It's week's nearly over, sadly. RedSand's actually not a new business. It's a business that has gone through a number of iterations, but around about 2019, we found ourselves right in the nexus of edge compute, predominantly in one particular industry, which is real estate. And so we were involved in projects mostly in Scandinavia, looking at submerged data centers, which called on us to be very inventive about how we looked at form factor. But myself and Sandeep are not just, technical geeky people. I've had a career in software and financial technology. I've acted as a VC. Sandeep is an engineer and an investment banker. And so when the call came for AI, our experience immediately, our gut instinct was, well, we're going to have to solve a lot of problems in terms of the infrastructure. The natural instinct for us, and we're really glad we stuck to our guns, was to look at decentralized compute. Because if, all our work pointed to the fact that very quickly the demands on infrastructure would pull away from centralized thinking. AI does not fit neatly in a cloud environment, and we'll talk more about that in terms of this region. Technically, it's fraught with challenge, and so being able to decouple your compute from centralized infrastructure, specifically cloud, is very important for a number of reasons: privacy, but also performance. So that's what we do. We deliver the infrastructure in the most flexible way, completely bespoke per use case, which gives us huge flexibility in terms of how we can help customers. And we deliver that as a service. So we take the headache of the supply chains and the ownership of this infrastructure, which is still something we have to untrain customers from, because NVIDIA's done a very good job of selling ownership. But it's a commodity ultimately. So we deliver that as a service, and we deliver that as in a predictive way, specifically commercially.
Fantastic. And Sandeep, the engineer and behind this sizing of opportunity for infrastructure, tell us a little bit about the cost of ownership model. I mean, we heard in KSA from the government ministers about the need for such compute power. Tell us a little bit about the cost and why RedSand has come together for this region. You're moving here as well as a business from London with your second office. So coming together with Ode's business as well for the region. Tell us a little bit about, the kind of use cases that need the infrastructure and the layers for this.
Yeah, so thanks, Brian. Following up with, I guess, what we had spoken earlier on also, the market is moving from training to inference. So what this means is that, like Ode said, we are moving from large LLMs to coming down to where a bank or a logistics company or a retail company starts using these models. And this is very important because every time there is a call that goes to the model, which is what we call as inference, there's a request that goes to the model, and that's where you actually see the performance requirements coming in. So when you have a cloud, which is probably a few hundreds of kilometers away, maybe now here in Dubai, you might have one just outside the city of Dubai. Every time you send a request, it has to go through the existing broadband configuration. And the line is the restricting factor for the entire performance. So what you will see is that when you ping, the reply will come back after a few milliseconds, or in some cases in few minutes also. So the farther this data center is, the more expensive it becomes. This is one of the factors that many enterprise don't look at yet. We have fortunately seen that in KSA they are already aware of this. I think in one way this week has been quite enlightening. We have seen the entire region is actually quite forward in thinking in terms of performance and privacy, like we talked about data residency. And I think this is going to be a forerunner for many other regions also to look at. I think Europe is also there, but the amount of focus that we have seen on privacy here is amazing.
I think it's been fascinating.
Fascinating, yeah.
I mean, certainly talking to some of the customers and prospects out here, Ode, I think they're all asking for ruggedized, fast compute power that's very secure, very sovereign, almost unplug it, which you don't see in all the regions of the world, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, the demand for such fast compute and the growth of transactions and the growth of the economical, aspect of the region, that has put more pressure on data and systems. So we see this pressure translated into processes and transactions every day in all fields, not only banking or government. You see boom in Saudi Arabia trying to build their strategy and achieve their strategy of 2030. You have here in Dubai is being accelerating with the population growth. Like I think they grew by 3 million plus in the last 4 years. So you see that pressure on the digital infrastructure growing, and the demand to utilize more smart systems and to utilize more digital workers is growing, amazingly in the region. And we do work with the large organizations such as Roads and Transportation Authority here, and we see that firsthand, the pressure on the systems. So we support them with digital workers and AI to resolve these matters and to provide much better service and to improve the service on the ground also. So this is a reality now. It's not
Incredible.
like something that they're dreaming about or they're thinking about.
Yeah.
They're just living this challenge, right?
Yes, incredible.
I mean, I as effectively as an outsider looking in, and obviously I'm very much an outsider, the gap between the theoretical headlines and the reality is really frustrating for those of us in AI, because when you dig, and you don't have to dig too much, the use cases are few and far between. And O'Day, amazing work. You're beginning to close the gap so quickly on that. And I think that, RPA and automation background is just such a perfect jumping off point for, the deployment of the agentic use cases that really could come to life in reality. But what struck me about the region is, and I love a headline, but I've learned not to trust them, is first of all, it's very tangible. The 2 trillion that's been committed to, both the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the UAE as a whole. You can feel it. You can feel that everyone is willing to talk and really, and customers and prospects are really willing to kind of go the mile to get pilots going, or at least have real good conversations. The thing that is very noticeable is the ambition is huge. Here you have, I think, you have 26%, or sorry, bigger pardon, 86% of Saudi universities are looking at an AI, diploma or degree. And I think, Dubai ranks in the top 20 for the place to be in the AI world. So it's definitely putting its money where its mouth is. And as a business that's committed to supporting customers in real use cases, it makes absolute sense for us to be here on the ground supporting O'Day's team and really showing the world how it's done.
It's an amazing partnership that comes together. You almost answered why you want to be in the region and
Yes.
why you're with O'Day's business here in the region. But O'Day, why did you choose RedSand and infrastructure to come together in this partnership?
Question. So we've been struggling a little bit in the last, let's say, 1 year with trying to get our clients to adopt more and more AI tools and technologies. And in some cases, we managed to do so using the cloud services available, where there is no customer data or non-confidential data, things like document analysis and all stuff, very simple tasks. The missing link in our technology stack that we offer a full stack from data lake solutions to automations to orchestration and so on. We have so many components in our stack, and the missing component was the AI on-prem component, which is a solid infrastructure that can be hosted and resident in the customer premises. And we luckily found that in RedSand and the availability of this technology. So you're talking about 6 to 8 weeks to have your box ready and up and running, which is amazing. It's sometimes even faster if you want to order your own GPU. Okay. So there has been a big demand on GPU and shortage in the market. And so having a box ready to run and fully managed and supported by a company like RedSand was an amazing breakthrough to us that completed the stack.
So I think that's quite a vision and a very impressive vision, Ode, because I don't see many companies in the world that have that end-to-end supply chain, from the automation through either cloud or on-prem through to actually supporting the agents, because it's very difficult to go from a CPU-based cloud
Yes.
RPA generation 1 to what corporations are now looking for, which is a speed of inference and storage power that you would have normally have got in the old data center world, right? So here, RedSand is giving you that portability, that speed to be able to support call centers and banks and, you know, hospitals and governments and roads and any industry really. So kudos to your business for that strategy. I think I've not seen that in the world. So just coming back to RedSand then, so you're coming to the region, you're supporting customers out here. What do you see in the next 12, 24 months in this partnership? How will it look if we were here, 12 months time?
Yeah. I mean, I think why our partnership with Botteq Automation and Cyborg Automation in Saudi makes so much sense is our biggest frustration was the agility in our business model meant that we need to partner in a way that perhaps a traditional infrastructure partner doesn't have to, right? So if you know anything about the infrastructure world, it's very much build and they will come.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury because, we finance everything on our balance sheet. It's an expensive CapEx outlay. But it's been very beneficial for us to go, well, we're certainly not going to build until they come because we don't know what people want to build. So our gap has been historically to, our earlier customers were other infrastructure players. And we just didn't want to, we found that quite legacy in a way. But we knew that getting closer to the use case meant we needed to find those partnerships where the tipping point was becoming very evident. And we did a lot of work to kind of find is that a consultancy company? Is that a strategy company? Is that a data company? And when we came across, thanks, obviously there is, good kudos here around the table and it's a small world. But when we, got to know Botteq and Ode and his team, it was just the perfect, symbiosis of we know our corner. We have a stack that basically, begins and ends where essentially the Cyborg Automation stack takes over. So it's absolutely perfect. The engagement model, the way in which we can run a service is seamless. So that's, really good. And of course the region is super strategic. We've been thinking for a long time, do we flip into the US? Do we certainly look at Europe and think, can we be as agile in Europe? Probably not. So it all came together, and that's certainly why we partnered. Now looking forward, if you take, for example, some of the kind of leading industries from an AI perspective, they're all in this region, right? Whether it be financial services, whether it be logistics, whether it be real estate, whether it be, other technology companies, healthcare, they're all in this region. So, again, it's a very deep and wide market in terms of potential. So our year ahead is really just supporting Ode, making sure we can deliver on time and delight customers. We'll, as you know, and as you've said, to do that, we'll be coming and basing ourselves here.
Well, you're doing it the right way, like so many great companies before in the history of technology. You're supporting partners, supporting their customers with very specific enterprise needs rather than building huge, great centers and then hoping that you'll fill them. Of course, they do fill them, but it takes, almost hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to build those, and they're not going to be ready until 2028. But you're on the ground now and you're going to be delivering this year, which is extremely exciting.
I think that's an important point also, because what we are delivering is instant, like Oday said, in 6 to 8 weeks. That's the target. But when we have spoken to clients, and Oday has taken us and met some of his star clients also, what we have understood is they are looking for customized solution. They're not asking for any off the shelf solutions also, which is something you find it very tough as a cloud provider to provide. Plus they want a fixed cost model. That's how we usually operate. We understand the needs of the client, the use case. Based on the use case, we actually build the configuration. So each client is different. Like if you have a client who is saying that I have a number of offices across different countries, can you connect them and can you still be private? We can do that.
Amazing.
Yeah, we can do that, and we can still retain the sovereign stack, and data residence rules can still be followed. So that's one of the use cases. I'm sure there are a number of use cases. I mean, last time we spoke, there were at least 16 to 20 use cases in each customer's own requirement. And the difference that we have seen between what's been happening in this region right now compared to US and Europe, you have all this developer market which has gone crazy, and you have they have set up new models, and you're talking about like job losses and things like that we've seen everywhere. But in the reality is that most of the enterprises, say a bank, a hospital, or a university, or a retail company, they haven't come on to AI as they had hoped. There are reports that the adoption rate is quite dismal, and this is one of the reasons why even the hyperscalers are slowing down right now the investments. You also see a lot of LLMs getting into enterprises now because they realize that's the market to be in. But you see in the region right now, the customers we have spoken, the use cases are pretty simple actually. Use cases are scanning documents. You have a voice bot solution. There are customer care solutions. While these may look very primitive or basic for all this developer market or the big hyperscalers, what we realize is this is where the huge volume of requirement will come in, and this is where you actually touch real people. You actually engage with real public, and you engage with people who actually use these services on a daily basis. So if you're able to improve the customer experience for these customers, say with higher, lower latency, lower cost, and better performance, I think we can say this the market is going to be red hot for us.
Yes.
Right?
Ode, I think probably in your experience, sitting on many use case and councils of large corporations, how are you seeing the evolution of how companies will digest this next wave of technology?
One of the biggest concern is, like I mentioned earlier, is the security and the management of this large models and AI, which is for them it's a beast, that might take over everything, and there's this worry from in the market and all stuff. So we created the technology layer to handle the security and build boundaries around any LLM that's related to the enterprise itself. So this is, we call it like, it's like the comfort zone that they will have it, and they will securely log in into an LLM and have access credential to each person depending on their role and position in the organization, getting the right information and the information they are supposed to see only. Because LLM and AI engines will have access to all systems and data and applications in any organization. So segregation of these data based on role and requirement and time is critical. So we build this layer. This is the biggest enabler for adoption for enterprises. And it's given us an edge towards having an expanded use cases. So instead of focusing, for example, having AI manage the finance only, Now we can have AI connect to finance system, HR system, banking systems, operational systems, logistics, all of them. And once the standard employee or personnel in the organization logs into this layer and ask any question, if this person is supposed to see this information, it will be exposed to this person immediately. So this layer is also let's say an enterprise fit layer, like same as the box of RedSand. So you give them the box of the size and the compute power they need, and you will give them the management layer and the LLM. So these three components are very critical. So we have a strong partnership also with Meta. We are using their Olama model, and we are one of the unique niche companies who have close ties with Meta to develop more use cases on their models through the Design Drive initiative they have right now. We are heavily engaged with them. And also we have technologies like Blue Prism in the background, which is the bots, so they can execute also on the request. So you're chatting with a LLM, you are chatting with AI, and you request some information. I need my sales data for the last quarter, for example. I get the data. I want to create a proposal for one customer, for example, that's pending. It's not in the pipeline, it's not a closed deal. So suddenly I thought, okay, why don't you drop an email or send a proposal or think of a new technology to offer? So immediately the AI will trigger a bot to generate this data and open the applications and use the data from LLM to be sent via an email system to the customer, for example. So that's a cycle that's easily built from a small chat box in any organization. So we started to develop these technologies, plus technologies like VoiceBot and customer communications, email responses. We've been doing hundreds of use cases in this scope.
Well, this is incredible. I mean, the appetite for compute power is just going to get more. And I imagine it must be a board level debate as well as to the productivity, the cost of running a business process in a large organization, that you must be now touching the strategy of how a company operates. So incredible. What sort of messages would you leave the audience and corporations over the next 12, 24 months then as you come together as a partnership?
Well, I think the first, customers typically have the same requirement over and over again. At each meeting probably begins with the statement, well, for AI, we need ROI. Where is that ROI case, right? So our message, I guess, I'm not going to speak on behalf of O'Day, but I'd guess you'd agree, is we're committed to that ROI journey. And again, the ROI we can achieve is each customer is treated differently. Each customer is looked at uniquely, and the economics as well as the service are built around their requirements. That said, we are designed to scale very elegantly. So where the ambition goes, we can go with it. And bearing in mind that, AI budgets generally are one, on a P&L sitting within a division. Generally, they're not broken down. Infrastructure can eat up to 60% of a budget. Now, that share of wallet we want to unbundle, all right, and make go a long, long way. And I think we've got a great partnership to do that.
Fantastic. O'Day?
It is the right time for all enterprises to invest in this now. And since the technology is available and it's according to their requirements and their country requirements and regulatory requirements, be aggressive in this technology, use it and abuse it. It's there to be expanded, not to be limited. and have it connected to all your organization's need. Don't limit it to a certain area or application. And we support, with the support is available in the region, and it can give you the edge over the competition for sure. We have created with automation ROIs more than 300 to 400%. I believe with AI, it's going to be shooting even more than that. So I believe it's the right time now to catch up with the latest technologies and have the business continuity in place, and the acceleration in the business will be amazingly realized as soon as you get on board this technology.
Well, it's been amazing. Thank you, all of you, for your time to talk about your vision and the ambition for the region. I think, in summary, we're probably in the most exciting shift of technology, certainly in our lifetime. And you're right at the forefront. So I couldn't be more excited for you. I wish you all the best in the year and ahead, and look forward to hearing progress as you go. So thank you again.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
It's great to see you all,
Thank
and
you.
best of luck to all of us.